Hey everyone, Kirk Rifles bringing you the 2021 Honda Accord Hybrid. Today we're going to find out if this is really the Accord to buy, as Honda claims that this is the better option, the more efficient, the more powerful option than the 1.5 turbo. So we're going to take it on a tour. We're going to show you the interior, the exterior. We're going to show you the highlights and the lowlights, and of course test the efficiency and performance. Is this really the Honda Accord to buy? Let's find out. So 2021 got a refresh for the Accord. We have a wider grille, we have LED fog lights, and you see a big old sensor down here for improved radar cruise control integration. So safety features are definitely better in this 2021. You'll also notice in the EX and above, you're gonna have decked out full LED high beam, low beam, daytime running lights, etc. Gorgeous headlights. I think this is the best part of, in terms of looks, the best part of the new Accord. Now on the side of the Accord, of course, you have the hybrid logo here. We have 19-inch wheels, which these are the best looking 19-inch wheels that you can get on the Accord. You can go to their website and see some options, and they cost like $2,000 to $3,000. They're all really ugly in my opinion, so luckily these come on the touring package at no extra cost. Now you see a lot of chrome on the vehicle, on the top of the handlebars, on the bottom of the side skirts that goes into the rear bumper. You also see it on the window line. And lastly, I'm not a big fan of how the rear slopes down. I know it's more efficient and that's the way things are going, but I just think it's uglier than the outgoing model. Now on the back of the Accord Hybrid, we don't see a whole lot going on. No exhaust tips, which is fine for me. We just have some chrome decor at the bottom where the exhaust tips normally go. We also have some chrome, like I mentioned, that follows from the side of the vehicle. The iconic Honda lobster claw tail lights are full in effect here, but not a whole lot going on in design in the back. All the business is up in the front. Now opening the trunk lid, we have about 16.5 cubic feet of space, which is a ton in a sedan, so that's really nice to see. Very, very big. Rear seats fold down with these levers here. Now, unfortunately, as I pull this up, no spare tire. There's a fix-a-flat kit, and yeah, no spare tire on the Hybrid. Now underneath the hood of the Honda Accord Hybrid, we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder, which doesn't really come as a surprise, naturally aspirated, but the star of the show is going to be the electric powertrain on here. So the electric motor is capable of 181 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque, while the gasoline engine is only capable of 143 horsepower and 129 pound-feet of torque. Combined, when they're working together at maximum capacity, we're only getting 212 horsepower, which is a big upgrade compared to the 1.5 turbo. And Honda is saying you can get up to 48 miles per gallon if you have the 17-inch wheels on the lower packages, or the 19-inch wheels are expecting about 43 miles per gallon. In my testing, I've done a little bit better than the 43. On the inside of the Accord Hybrid, in this touring trim, it's very well appointed. Not only do you have tons of space, you have leather seats, a leather steering wheel, and I love the thickness of the steering wheel. Oftentimes nowadays, steering wheels are really small, but this one feels just right. Now this one comes with paddle shifters. We'll talk more about how they work a little bit later. I do like how there's knobs. Save the knobs. Honda is here to give us rotary knobs, not only for climate control, but also for the volume and the tuning. Super happy about that. You have an 8-inch screen that works pretty well together. In this 2021, they moved the USBs all in one spot up here in the front. I do appreciate that. Of course, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, you have wireless charging as well. You have the standard Honda push button drive sort of thing. It's not my favorite. I still prefer a traditional shifter just because I'm old school, but yeah, I'm so used to it now. We have a couple extra buttons in here just because it's the Hybrid. We have the Econ button for the Econ mode where you're saving leaves and it turns the screen green, or the accent lighting green around the instrument cluster. And we have the Sport button. When you press it, the gasoline engine fires on right away to assist with propulsion. So that's always on, and then it turns the accent lighting around the speedometer and such red. There's also an EV button, which I'm never going to use because it's only going to give you a mile at best of full electric range. Cup holders are large. The trim here on the dash it looks like a wood, but I couldn't find exactly what kind of trim that is, but it looks pretty good altogether. Soft touch in most places, and I do appreciate that. Sitting back of the Accord, it probably doesn't change from hybrid to non-hybrid, but I have about 5 or 6 inches of knee room, and this seat is set up for me. I'm at 6'1". I have about 3 inches of headroom when I'm sitting up straight. Now, no panoramic roof. That's an unfortunate, but we do have some fast chargers back here. for your USB powered devices, phones, etc. In this upper trim, we do have vents. That's nice to see. When I fold down the armrest, we have cup holders. So very well appointed back seat with tons of space. Your passengers are gonna be very, very happy back here. Time for the highlights and lowlights. Let's start with the highlights. We have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That's not the highlight, but it's now wireless on the EX and above grade, which is going to be the vast majority of these hybrids. And you get it also with a wireless charger. So that's an issue I've had in some cars where you have the wireless CarPlay, but you don't have the wireless charging. So your phone just needs to be connected anyway, so it doesn't die. So that's nice. Headlights are gorgeous. I don't know what else to say about them. That is by far my favorite styling piece of this new Accord. The heads-up display is pretty nice. I do like having the charge and power gauge always up, which to kind of remind me of how efficiently I'm driving. The paddles on the steering wheel, it's nice to have them. They help with recharge braking, but we'll talk about a low light of them in a second. And you have heated rear outboard seats, which is definitely a next level luxury option. You don't see that even in a lot of Acura products, unless you go into the advanced trim, which those vehicles all cost significantly more than this one. Now for the low lights, no panel roof option. Come on, just throw it in there, guys. It can't be that hard. The screen is tilted up, and it's tilted up if a face was like up here by the sunroof. So I don't know why it's tilted. I wish it was tilted towards me and down to a neutral level. Now the screen behind the steering wheel is kind of a hybrid. So you have a screen on the left side for where the tachometer would usually be. On the right side is your traditional needle and speedometer. But on the left, you can't really customize it. All you have is you know, an A and B trip to check your fuel economy, and that's about it. The paddle shifters, while they're nice to have, I don't think I'll ever use them. And the reason is that they reset every single time you reaccelerate. So if I'm driving and I'm coming to a stop, I would have to hit the paddle shifter to adjust the regen braking all the way down. So I got to pop it down 3 or 4 times to get the max regen. And then after like 5 seconds, it goes back to neutral. Now, when you're finished with your efficient drive, you can turn off the car, of course, and then the screen is going to greet you with a bunch of different leafs and how well you did. I still don't know how to interpret it. It's just a bunch of leafs and bars, and yeah, give me some words, or give me like a 5 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. It just doesn't make sense to me. 0 to 60 time, it's supposed to be a whole second faster than the 1.5 turbo Honda Accord. So I have it in sport mode. I'm also going to take off traction control, and I think we're ready to go. So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, 0 to 60, I just got 6.99 seconds, and 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 7.39 seconds. Surprisingly, I think that's the first time I've ever beat Car and Driver's results on 0 to 60. So Honda, holy cow, under 7 seconds, 6.99 0 to 60 in this Accord Hybrid. We got to try that again. Let's see if we can beat 6.99. I'm happy. I'm actually happy right now, but you guys probably would like another 0 to 60 to see if I can repeat that 6.99 0 to 60. I'm happy. Before we get in the next 0 to 60, steering and handling this is very, very responsive. I don't really have any twisty roads here in Florida, but just know that when I turn in, it's very responsive and very confidence inspiring. I love the steering wheel, so that helps out as well. Traction control off, sport mode on, 3, 2, 1, go. We actually did beat our previous time, but it's more margin of error. I'm at a 6.98. So guys, 6.98 0 to 60 in the new Accord Hybrid. You can leave it there. I'm happy with those results, and that's faster than what I was expecting. So let's get into the more normal driving impressions. Not that many people are doing 0 to 60 runs on a normal basis. Driving the Accord Hybrid is very, very smooth. It drives like an electric car until you're up at highway speeds. The engine does come on from time to time, most of the time under low acceleration or low stress. When you're not trying to squeeze the power out of this system, you don't know if the engine's on or off. So Honda's done a really good job at making this feel like an EV when you're driving it very conservatively. Of course, the engine does come on at highway speeds. We'll find out later, especially when you're trying to milk the system for all its power, that engine kicks on, and the system definitely needs the engine. It's a hybrid after all. Now, fuel economy is what hybrids are about, as well as, in theory, you know, getting a little bit more power out of the system. So in my testing, I'm getting roughly 48 miles per gallon, and that's pretty good. You know, that's better than what Honda is advertising with this vehicle. They're advertising 43 miles per gallon with the Touring package and 48 miles per gallon on the lower trims. So with the 17-inch wheels. So the 19-inch wheels are supposed to result in worse fuel economy, but that hasn't been so far the case in my testing, with me getting anywhere from 44 to 48 miles per gallon depending on the trip I'm taking. Now, time for the braking. The braking doesn't feel like a hybrid at all. Usually when I'm testing hybrids, I have a little bit of a regen braking feeling, and sometimes it feels like the brake pads kick in, or sometimes it's hard to modulate at slow speeds, like I found out with the hybrid Sienna I had last week. But this just feels like a really well braking car. It doesn't feel like a hybrid or anything like that. I know I already mentioned the paddle shifters, how they're supposed to help with regen braking, and they do. It's just you always have to hit the paddle 3 or 4 times every time you decelerate, because it resets back to 0 once you accelerate. Now, when you're cruising and accelerating at like traffic levels, it's very smooth, very quiet, like I mentioned. But if you want to give it some power, 3, 2, 1, go. It's very delayed. Now, I am in econ mode with the green leaf thing, and it is extremely unresponsive when you want to give it the beans. And that's just kind of the limitation of Honda's hybrid technology at this point in time. For some reason, in order to get the max amount of power, you have to wait for the engine to kick in to rev up the first motor generator to give the drive motor the power it needs to push the car forward. So slow to respond, that's probably the best way to put it when you want to give it some power. Now we're up at highway speeds, and you do hear like a good amount of road noise, and a part of that is also some sort of weird sound pumping in or noise cancellation coming through the speakers. It doesn't sound bad, it's just, if you know what you're listening for, you can notice it. Now, I'm going about 68. I'm gonna go down 3, 2, 1, go. And it still takes a while for the engine to hit like the max rev range that it needs to produce the power to propel the car. So even at highway speeds, I was hoping that we would get a little bit more response compared to lower speeds or city speeds when you need the power. So 3, 2, 1, go. And now I start to feel the power. So, but when you're just going steady state at like, you know, 70 to 80 miles an hour, this thing is smooth as butter. It's quiet, it's comfortable. And I wouldn't blink twice if I had to take the Accord hybrid on a long trip. It's very comfortable, and it's an easy car to live with day to day. And it's probably a good segue to finish this video up. The Accord hybrid is probably not for someone who's looking for performance or responsiveness, but it is pretty much a wonderfully well-rounded vehicle. It's quiet, it's really economical, me getting around 45 to 48 miles per gallon, just depending on the trip I'm in. It drives like an electric car, especially at lower speeds. Sure, it's not perfect, but man, you get a lot for the money, and it doesn't really have any glaring weaknesses. If you know you're not going to be pushing the gas down hard all the time, and you're more economically focused like I am when I'm driving, then you'd be more than happy to have this as your daily driver. The ride quality is good, at least where I'm at. The brakes are good. really good. That's one of my favorite parts about this whole vehicle is just the brake quality, the brake feel, and the stopping power of this thing. Fuel efficiency is great. I probably already said comfort, and it's just a really, really well-rounded car. And you guys, you can get it in lots of different trims to meet your needs and price points. Guys, I'll leave it there. Let me know if you have any questions on the Honda Accord Hybrid. Love to see you down in the comments. Make sure to smash the like button if you haven't subscribed for more Japanese auto reviews like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourselves and peace out.